She fired me in front of everyone. But she didn't know I owned the company's biggest secret. The day Sarah humiliated me in the conference room was the day she unknowingly destroyed her own career. I still remember the way she smiled, calm, confident, and cruel, as she slid my termination letter across the polished glass table. 10 pairs of eyes watched me, some filled with pity, others with quiet relief that they weren't in my place. Sarah leaned back in her chair and said, "This company needs professionals, not emotional liabilities." My hands trembled, but not from fear, from shock, from betrayal. Because 3 years earlier, I was the one who had recommended Sarah for that same position. Back then, we were friends. Real friends, or at least I thought so. We met when the company was struggling to launch a new software platform. I was leading the development team, working 18-hour days to save a project that was already failing. Sarah joined as a junior analyst, nervous but ambitious. I trained her personally, shared my notes, even covered for her mistakes when she missed deadlines. She used to thank me constantly. She called me her mentor, but success changes people, and sometimes it reveals who they truly are. The software launch became a massive success. The company's revenue doubled in just 1 year. Upper management started looking for someone to head the new expansion department. I wasn't interested in politics, so I recommended Sarah, believing she deserved the opportunity. She got promoted. And that was when everything changed. Slowly, she stopped including me in meetings. My suggestions were dismissed. My emails went unanswered. At first, I blamed stress. I convinced myself she was just overwhelmed with her new responsibilities. Until the rumors started. Co-workers whispered that I was difficult to work with, that I refused to follow new policies, that I was slowing the company's growth. These were lies, but they spread quickly. Then came the day of the conference room meeting. Sarah presented a long list of so-called performance issues. She spoke smoothly, professionally, as if she had practiced every word. By the time she finished, even I almost believed her story. I was fired within 15 minutes. No warning, no second chance. I packed my desk while people avoided eye contact. The office that once felt like my second home suddenly felt like a place where I had never belonged. But what Sarah didn't know was that the software she built her promotion on had a hidden foundation, one I had created alone. 2 years before the launch, when the company was nearly bankrupt, I had designed a security algorithm that protected user data and prevented hacking attempts. The company had rushed the release, so management never officially documented my ownership of the original design files. But I had legally registered the core encryption framework under my personal intellectual property rights. As a safety measure, I never planned to use it until I was forced to. For weeks after losing my job, I felt lost, angry, betrayed. I struggled financially and emotionally. But during those sleepless nights, I started reviewing the contracts and licensing agreements connected to the software. And that's when I realized something shocking. The company had expanded internationally, using my registered algorithm without updating the licensing terms. They were technically violating intellectual property laws. I didn't rush into revenge, I waited. I contacted a legal consultant and carefully gathered evidence. Every file timestamp, every registration document, every email showing my involvement. It took 3 months of quiet preparation. Meanwhile, Sarah's department was receiving awards. She was featured in business magazines, praised as the visionary leader behind the company's growth. She looked unstoppable. Then the company announced its biggest deal yet, a partnership with a multinational tech corporation. The agreement was worth millions. And that was when I made my move. 2 days before the contract signing, my lawyer sent a formal legal notice to the company, claiming unauthorized use of patented security technology. The notice demanded either immediate licensing negotiations or a full system shutdown. The news spread through the company like wildfire. The multinational partner paused the deal instantly. Investors started asking questions. The board demanded answers. Sarah tried to contact me personally. She called repeatedly, sent long emails pretending to be friendly again. I ignored every message. Eventually, the company requested a formal meeting with me. When I walked into the same conference room where I had been fired, the atmosphere felt completely different. The executives who once avoided me now stood up to greet me. Sarah sat quietly at the far end of the table, her confidence replaced with visible anxiety. The CEO spoke carefully, asking if we could resolve the issue professionally. I nodded calmly and presented my documents. Every legal right was clear. Every violation was proven. Sarah suddenly interrupted, accusing me of sabotaging the company out of revenge. Her voice shook, but she tried to sound authoritative. I simply looked at her and said, "I didn't sabotage anything. I protected what was mine, the same way you protected your career." The room fell silent. After hours of negotiation, the company agreed to my terms. They purchased the full rights to the algorithm for a record-breaking settlement. More importantly, they offered me a senior executive position to rebuild the security department. I accepted. With one condition: Sarah would have no authority over my division. The board agreed without hesitation. Within 2 months, internal investigations revealed multiple management complaints against Sarah, not because of me, but because other employees finally felt safe speaking up. She was quietly removed from her position and later resigned. The day I officially returned to the company, I walked past the same desk where I had packed my belongings months earlier. But this time, employees greeted me with respect instead of silence. I didn't celebrate Sarah's downfall. I didn't insult her or seek public humiliation. Because real revenge isn't about destroying someone loudly, it's about rebuilding yourself so strongly that their betrayal becomes irrelevant. Sometimes, the most powerful victory is proving that someone's attempt to erase you only rewrote your story into something greater. And that was the day I realized losing my job wasn't the worst thing that happened to me. Trusting the wrong person was. But learning from it became my greatest success.